What's good, YouTube? Welcome to my Spiffy's podcast. If you're new, feel free to comment your thoughts on this video, whether it's correcting something you feel like I missed on or just critiquing my video as a whole. I will always be open minded and responsive to whatever anyone is saying in this podcast. I will be discussing basketball takes and just giving my overall thoughts on the games, players, upcoming stars, and ultimately focusing on the top contenders for the finals that season. This video hopefully won't be too long. I just want to get into the trending topics following the first week that I thought were interesting coming into this 2023 season. Alright, so how this is going to go is I got notes in my phone from the important games from each day that I wanted to get into from week one. So starting with day one, we got Celtics, Brown, and Tatum destroy 76ers. But their big three, like, they play good. And I think Harden's ISO ball is kind of a problem because, when you want to win a championship, it's more than just one player that's important to that team and what they do. And the 76ers, they got really good depth. Like, you look at Montrezl Harrell, I believe don't they got Conchar, I think so. But they got really good depth. At the end of the day, they got Milton. They got good players that should be used, and they need to be used. That's how you win games. And, that didn't really happen for them, especially against the Celtics. And Celtics play good defense, too. But, Warriors walk over the Lakers. But Russ wasn't the problem. He played good that game, and people still blamed him because he airballed a three. So, he's not returning to All-Star form. Some people think he can. He's not returning to All-Star form with the Lakers, and it's because of the Lakers. Because sometimes when you switch teams, you have to play into their system, and that's what Russ is trying to do. And it's not going to allow him to play into All-Star form anytime soon. Maybe he's lost a step because he's had to play this role. The Lakers' defense is terrible. And it was terrible in the first game. I don't care what anybody says. Some people saying it was good. They couldn't guard anybody. Steph was getting straight to the rim, open looks all game. You could see the lack of effort many times. Day two, Jabari Smith Jr. dropped 17 points and 7 rebounds and three three-pointers in his first NBA game, his NBA debut with the Rockets, and a 10-point loss. But he was a -9 on a plus-minus chart, which means that when he was on the floor, his team won. Whoever he was on the floor with, they won by 1 point. So he was not the cause of that loss. I think Jabari Smith is going to be really good because he has a simple role of just playing defense, coming into the league, being athletically gifted. He's got height, length. He's got length. All he really has to do is shoot threes, play defense, and grab rebounds. That's what he does. He's just a bucket. He reminds me of KD a little bit. Nets go down versus Pelicans, 108-130. Zion was Zion, and he will be Zion. Ben Simmons is almost useless out there. He doesn't do anything for real. Not that impacts the game in a really, really winning way. Pelicans, they really good. They got depth. Got a great starting five. They're one of the most underrated teams in the league, in my opinion. They have a chance to win the championship this season. It's up for grabs between a lot of teams right now. DeMar Hughes game against the Heat, 37-6-9. Played defense in a close win. Hero is starting now. I think that's permanent now, finally. Ja versus Knicks. Really close game, goes to overtime. Ja dominates, average NBA team has good case for MVP campaign this year due to injuries and number inflation and lack of scoring talent for the Grizzlies. So Ja's numbers are going to be inflated throughout the entire season. So me personally, I take winning into the factor how much you impact your team. Obviously, Ja impacts his team on like a level that not too many people can, but the number inflations is a thing that I won't take too serious when I'm picking my MVP for the season because It's just always a game in the game. It's not just scoring, going out there and scoring and doing everything for your team. That's not how you win championships. Uh, Rudy Gobert dominates the weak Thunder, but he made a statement that he has an easy role. He's going to start that role, and it's going to help impact the Timberwolves in a positive way. Because nobody else played good that game but him. Nuggets destroyed by Jazz. Entire world was shocked. The Jazz, they honestly have a full squad of talent. They don't have a superstar. I thought they were going to be tanking coming into the season. A lot of people thought that, but they beat the Nuggets. They beat the two-time back-to-back MVP. Um, Luca starts game versus Suns dominating. I remember watching this game, and I thought this game was going to happen exactly just like Game 7 happened. Because at one point, the score was 49-28. Luca had like 20 something. Then Booker happens, and he shows flashes of greatness. He shows that he can play make in a positive way. Shows that he can score when it matters. He showed that he can defend. He did all of these things that made me think he's going to take a step into becoming a better player this season. One that could possibly lead his team to a championship. That comeback was amazing. Day 3. Harden goes off again and it doesn't matter. Again, ISO ball is a problem. Giannis does Giannis things and impacts his team in a way that truly no one can today except maybe Steph Curry. Lakers, that's why I have Giannis as the best player in the world. Lakers defense starts strong, but offense is just atrocious, and only one player shot above 43% from the field goal, minimum 7 shots. So nobody was hitting, and that was AD. AD's playing good to start the season, but his team is not. They will continue to struggle until they acquire shooting. That's the end of that. Day 4. Warriors fall to Nuggets, who fell to the supposed to be tanking Jazz. Uh, in the 5-point loss of a game, they struggled to hold a defensive presence. And Jordan Poole is missing on the offensive end. He didn't shoot the ball. He's having these games where he's disappearing, like as far as just scoring, which we know is his. Well, it's our favorite thing to watch him do because it's where he's most impactful at. To be honest, he's a good playmaker though. He play make that game. But I think he's honestly setting the foundation for a new season to be a better player. Because last season he averaged 18, 2 and 3, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. This season he started out averaging 15 points and 7 assists. So maybe he's just trying to like have his assist already up, so it's easier for him to score. So like when he does start scoring, he'll have that foundation. So it'll look more like this season 20 points per game, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, or something like that, 6 assists or something like that. Curry, he wasn't enough that night. He was going off though, couldn't save them in the end. He's starting the season where he left off though, which is a good thing. Starting off playing like he was in the finals. He's looking really, really good. Uh, Jokic was dominant. He has a very good chance to win third MVP this season. Bones Highland was impactful, and Jokic, he's receiving um, Michael Porter Jr. back and Jamal Murray. So he's also got that depth, which is like basically a contending type of team. So if he puts up the same numbers he did last year, it's a good chance he'll win his third MVP. I have Giannis though. Wizards start 2-0 behind Kyle Kuzma. Development brilliance. He's becoming a great all-around basketball player, and he's showing flashes of the mentoring he received from Kobe and LeBron. He looks sharp to me. I don't know if y'all been watching him or not. He looks sharp with his scoring, his rebounding, his defense. He just looks like a developed veteran already. Uh, Nets escape Siakam dominance by 4 off Kyrie and Durant and Claxton. Ben Simmons useless again. Brown and Tatum again combined to take out the Heat. Ja Morant has second best regular season career game for him. versus the Rockets. He dropped 49 points, 8 assists, and 5 threes. I watched that game. Ja, he's looking unstoppable, to be honest. I'm not going to say dominant, but unstoppable. Uh, or more unguardable than unstoppable. But his jump shot improved, though. Really did. I don't know how much, like, because I know we're, like, just a few games into the season, so it's not that much to take from it. But he's looking good, though. But it was still just the Rockets also. But Jalen Green dropped 31 points. He looks good to start the season. He looks explosive. Like last season when he came out for his rookie season, he was shocking a lot of people. Then he went into this massive slump that ended after he dropped 40 at the end of the season. But he looks good though. The Jazz shocked the world by beating the Timberwolves' new Big Four, who went off for 89 points. They combined for 89 points and 45 rebounds and still lost. And the combination of bench and great role players all playing outstandingly in one night for the Jazz. So it's just everything going their way to start the season. Their role players simply played perfect. Dame destroys the Suns. He looks vintage, dropping 41 points, and he was talking a lot of shit too. Very entertaining game, back and forth. Anthony Simons is solid, and I think he's gonna have a C.J. McCollum type of role with the Blazers for Dame if they want to contend. Day 5, Harden falls back a bit to let Embiid drop 40, and they still lose to the Spurs. 76ers. 76ers. I don't think they're really good enough to compete. Like I don't think they have like a player on the team like a guy that just has the leadership to like push them towards the end. Like like a guy like Jimmy Butler or a guy like Draymond. I think they lack that. They did get PJ Tucker, but be real now. Who's really listening when PJ Tucker is screaming about you losing the game to the Spurs? He's not scoring no points. But PJ Tucker does little things though. But Tatum drops 40 versus the Magic. He's kind of abandoned playmaking. But he's looked good like as far as scoring and rebounding. He's got an MVP case low key though. He's got a low key one because like he can end the season and like scoring a lot of points, maybe in the 30s, and then a lot of rebounds, and then get his assists back up. Derek White in the starting lineup drops 27, and I like that change. Perhaps should make some moves to the starting lineup for best possible basketball for them. I feel like Marcus Smart sometimes takes up room as a starter. He can come off the bench and be just as impactful in my opinion. My personal starting lineup for them would be Malcolm Brogdon, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum at the 4, and then Rob Williams when he's healthy. But for now, I think Al Horford. But that would be a great starting lineup. I don't know why they don't do that. Raptors lose close game to the Heat. Somewhat of a playoff atmosphere about the game. Battle that should be expected at any time of the postseason. Giannis has a game that defines what he has done the past 3 seasons versus the Rockets. 44, 12, and 3. 17 shots made. And how many shots did he attempt? 21. So that means he missed 4 shots in 27 minutes. Yeah. 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 Best player in the world. And that was with ease too, 27 minutes. Luka destroys the Grizzlies. Whole squad scared of Luka, my bad. Whole squad scared of Luka. Grizzlies offense doesn't work against playoff defense. I know that. We seen that last year. Ja is a defensive liability. He gave up open lanes to Luka, miss, and wanted to blame Tyson. I remember a play that happened. He was guarding Luka down the stretch, and he was trying to get a switch, but he wanted Tyson to switch on him to get off of Luka, and he tried to blame Tyson for it, and that gave up a foul actually that happened, and they went to the line. John wants to rest too much on defense. to be explosive on offense. And Mavs pick him out by calling his defender every time, which is usually the 3 or 4 who barely scores the ball. And they switch him halfway, forcing him to pick up the 5, and there's nothing he can do about it. Created a lot of easy buckets for them, which is why they got blown out so bad. The game was over at halftime. He has a great team around him, low key. Like, we seen him lead basically nobody to the Western Conference Finals last season. Imagine what he could do with this team in the playoffs. They probably won't be a great regular season team, but the playoffs, Luka, he'll take over. Day 6, Lakers versus Blazers, 106 to 104. Blazers look good this season. Dame looks good, like I said, 126 to 109. Hornets upset Hawks. Solid. They were solid defensively. Hornets look good defensively. They honestly a weird team. You should expect Donovan Mitchell to dominate this season. The Cavs beat the Wizards, who started off straight. The Wizards started off pretty good. The Cavs beat the Wizards 117 to 107. Mitchell had 37 points. He has a LeBron type of role, like a LeBron had with the Heat type of role. Like, he's got to score, defend, but he's playmaking a little bit more than Braun does, and he shoots better. So he's got like a Braun type of role. Jazz continues to shock the world without Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell. On top of Pelicans, they beat them. Lauri Markkanen drops 25 points and seven rebounds. My bad, I'm thinking about the wrong game. But Lauri Markkanen, he's having a breakout season. He's 25. He's a top 7 pick. I don't know why many people are surprised. He's always been, up to this point, a great role player on, like, I don't think contending teams, but like teams that could contend. They just didn't. But he's a top 7 pick, so I don't know why people are surprised. He's gonna have drop these numbers at some point in his career. You can see the flashes already. Devin Booker dominates again versus the Clippers, 112 to 95. He looks like he is taking a new respectable leap this year. Like I said, Kings versus Warriors. Curry looks dominant in a new way. I feel like he's understanding more like when he needs to have the ball in his hands. Like, if it's like a time where they're down, they got no energy going, he needs to score the ball. That's what he's realizing. Jordan Poole, he needs to be active like every night like he was against the Kings. 24 points, 4 assists, and 27 minutes off the bench. Jordan Poole, he's setting the foundation, and he's getting his points in. Wiggins will be an all-star this season. He's becoming an elite two-way level player and is still getting better by the day. He's averaging like 20-something mini rebounds, like a career high by far, and some assists. He's playmaking well. Last day of the week, Harden and Embiid, they have a mutually great game to win their first game of the season. Not much comments though, because they're 1-3 now, and they beat the Pacers. So they had a good game though. Miami can't score the ball. Hero not shooting up to standard, trying to learn the starting role. He's kind of understanding like when he needs to shoot the ball and when he needs to swing it. That's gonna be something that he has to learn and get better at. Jimmy has been great. He is top 10 in this league. I don't care what nobody says. He in the playoffs, he's dropping all these 40-point games, getting the rebounds and assists and defensive steals and blocks. Like, Jimmy is like that, bro. I don't know why y'all don't think so. Jimmy is like that. He's been consistent to start the season too. Probably having his best regular season so far. But the Heat are too small. They're significantly small. They're being outplayed on the glass way too much, and they're too unathletic. Like, they're not gonna get it done this season unless they make some moves. The Rockets slow down the fiery Jazz for the first one of the season, 108 to 114. Jalen Green played good. Jabari Smith, he is just a professional. Like, where he would thrive, I think, if he was at the Warriors, it's over. Cause like that's a season, that's a system. All you have to do is shoot the threes, pass the ball, rebound, play defense. That's Jabari Smith. Like, him with the Warriors, that would be his perfect fit. But him with the Rockets, that's important for them. Desmond Bain and John Morant shocked the world. I'm always impressed to watch Desmond Bain go off because he's so stiff. Like he's really buff. Like his body type is more of like a football body type. He don't look like he played basketball, but he can shoot though. He had 38, I think, and John Morant and Desmond Bain outscored Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. To me, that sounds like the new age taking over, and that's scary. Durant, KD, and Kyrie have simplified to the basketball that Durant swears he hates and falls short and will continue to fall short with Ben Simmons, who does nothing. Again, they lose 124 to 134. KD and Kyrie at the end of games usually fall into this OKC system where it's just Russ and KD scoring. Like that's all it is, and that doesn't win. It doesn't win. Like you'll win, but it doesn't win. Amp goes off versus the Nuggets in the last game of the week. He dropped 22 points in the third quarter. My Blazers' future projection, I think they can be really good. They got Dame, who is going to be good for at the least 5 more years. You got Amp, who is developing into maybe a superstar, maybe. Um, well, I wouldn't say a superstar, but a star for sure. Shaden Sharp, he's a top pick. He could arguably be a top 10 pick this season. He could have been in the draft. Shaden Sharp, he's gonna be good. He's athletic. He can shoot. He can dribble. He's got it all. He can defend too, and he gonna be good for the next for the next 10 or so years. He gonna get better and better and better, and the Blazers gonna get better and better. And they got Grant. I don't know what they're gonna do this season. They're gonna be in the playoffs for sure. That's without a doubt already. Um, they're gonna be a top 6 seed in my opinion because they already know who they are. They're gonna bring GP2 in the equation, who is probably the best on-ball defender in the league, but nobody talks about him because he played short minutes for the Warriors. But they're gonna bring him back, and he's gonna be stopping people left and right. And now you got the defense coming along with the offense that's already looking great. This is a championship contending team already, if you look at it. But that's the end of the week. Recap. Let me know who y'all think looks the best so far. I think the best player is Giannis. The best team, probably the Bucks too. They look good. They don't even have Chris Middleton yet. But y'all let me know what y'all think on this video, man. I'm out.